we are going to continue practicing responding to the text. So as we read something, just generating an opinion. Last week we did sketch notes, we've done response starters, and so for this lesson, we're going to find a quote from the text and just write your response. It's not, there's no right or wrong answer, it's just kind of what you think. It might be a question or a comment or a reaction. So let's start with this story, The Fake Cake. Okay, so I'm just going to read the first paragraph or so until I have a response or a thought. Everybody in the land was rushing around like crazed chickens. The emperor had declared a special holiday tomorrow because it was his favorite pet's birthday. Percy was the largest peacock in the palace. The emperor loved the beautiful blue and purple tail feathers that waved like a giant fan and wanted to have a remarkable dessert made to celebrate the bird's special day. I'm going to stop right there because I have a lot of reactions. I think it's super weird that you're going to have a holiday for a peacock. And so I'm just going to take the quote and the emperor had declared a special holiday tomorrow because it was his favorite pet's birthday. So let's start. Okay, so I wrote my quote here and I put quotations around it. You can see that just so I know it's a quote from the text. And my response is just that this is really weird. I wonder how the other characters feel about it. So I took a quote and then I responded. That's all you're doing, okay? So why don't you read the next paragraph and try one. When you enter your quotes, you can see what I did right here. It is okay to just put like the first two words and the last two words. So for example, your quote could be, let's say, like this. He went to, and then I can just go ... and then let's say the last word was bake. I don't know why, but okay. So that is how I'm entering my quote. The only reason I'm giving you guys that option is just because if you don't want to write all this, you could just shorten it by doing this. So that's fine, okay? So what you're gonna do right now is you're going to go ahead and do one on your own. So you pause the video, do one on your own, and then come back. Okay, now that you've done one from the second paragraph, I'm going to go ahead and show you an example from the third paragraph. All the shops soon were sold out of flour, sugar, and eggs. Not only were the bakeries getting busy, but clever housewives and other townsfolk were also trying their hand at baking something special. Everyone wanted to be named the best baker of all. So I'm going to stop here, and that last sentence, everyone wanted to be named the best baker of all. I'm going to respond to that with a question. So first I need to write my quote. So you can see here that I have written the quote and I shortened it up just to save myself a little bit of time. And the question I have here is, what does it mean to be the best baker of all? I understand it's a reward for having made the best cake, but what does that person get from it? Is there a money prize? Is it just the king thinks they're great? Will they get more business? I'm very curious. And then I also am wondering, does the peacock eat the cake? So I'm going to write my two responses. Okay, so I've written my last response. What I want you guys to do now is to finish reading this story, and I want you to come up with two more quotes and two more responses, okay? And then after that, you're going to move on to the next part of the video. So at this point, you pause the video again, and you create two more quotations with two more responses. Once you are done with that, you move on to the next part of the lesson. Okay, now we are going to be looking at an opinion article called Understanding the Rights of Children. And we're going to do the same thing that we did for the fake cake, except we are going to be looking at fact and opinions that we find in the text and then responding to those facts and opinions. So I'm going to do the first two for you, and then your job is to do the last two. Okay, so I'm just going to read the first few paragraphs until I find something that I think is worth responding to. The Convention of the Rights of the Child is an international treaty. It was adopted by the United Nations, or UN, on November 20th, 1989. The treaty establishes global standards to ensure the protection, survival, and development of all children without discrimination. Countries that signed the treaty pledged to protect children from exploitation, violence, and other forms of abuse. They also pledged to advance the rights of children to education, health care, and a decent standard of living. The Convention on the Rights of the Child is the most rapidly and widely approved human rights treaty in history. It has been signed by 194 countries. The only countries that have not signed the treaty are Somalia, South Sudan, and the United States. I'm going to stop there because I know that's a fact, because they're just stating who signed the treaty and who is not. They're not saying how they feel about it. So my response is actually going to be a feeling. So first step is I'm going to write my quote. Okay, so you can see first here I wrote my quote and I shortened it to save myself time, and then I added my response. And my response this time is a question: why doesn't the U.S. support this? I find that really weird because I would think that we would want to be involved and part of something that protects all children. We are a pretty developed nation, and we have a lot of laws here in the States that protect children, so I don't know why we wouldn't want to join on and be part of, like, the whole world who's coming together to do this. So, I find this very interesting, so that's why I responded to it. Okay, I'm going to continue reading and see if I can't find an opinion that I find interesting and want to respond to. Many countries have used the treaty to strengthen their national laws and improve the lives of children. Children are now better off in many ways than they were 25 years ago. Okay, I'm going to stop there because that is an opinion. Children are now better off in many ways than they were 25 years ago. Some people might not agree with that. Maybe they think 25 years ago, children, the way they were raised was better. I'm not sure, and I don't really see any data to support that. Like, where did they get that information from? How did they come to that conclusion? So because that's an opinion, and I'm kind of want to know more about it, I'm going to pause here and add my quote and my response. Okay, so I've added in my quote right here, and I shortened it again just to save time. And then also I have here my response. So how do they know that, and why do they think that? So your job now is to continue reading the article, and you are going to add in one fact quote and one opinion quote, and then you're going to respond to each of those. And that is your task for today. As soon as you have both of these sheets done, then you're done for the day and you can go on Quill or something like that. Okay? Awesome. Thank you. See you later.